Hi everyone. I wanted to make this video for other people who are on the spectrum, like high functioning Asperger's type autism, so people don't feel so alone who are experiencing what I'm going to talk about. I've recently come to accept and make peace with the fact that I'm probably going to be single forever. I'm probably never going to have a romantic relationship, mostly due to my autism, and I want to talk a little bit about this and about how to feel better about it. Something very strange. I was not diagnosed with autism as a child. I was diagnosed as an adult. I was diagnosed when I was 22. I'm almost 24 now. Um but when I was a kid, I have memories as early as second grade of thinking and somehow having some kind of an understanding that I probably would never date or get married and I would always be single. It's strange. Most second graders don't think those things, but it's like somehow I knew at such a young age. I don't know how I knew. So, um, when I grew up, as a teenager, I wanted romantic experience and a sexual experience so bad, but like no one wanted me in high school. I never went to any prom or any dates or anything like that or any dances, um and this is complicated by the fact that, like so many men on the spectrum, I'm gay. I've noticed a correlation there. So it was also like, well, there's very few gay people in the school, and how am I going to know who's gay and what is this and blah blah blah. And I was also afraid too of getting AIDS. I was afraid to dabble in any of that. So then when I moved out at 17, I went off to college, and I kind of had this idea in my head that I was finally going to date. I was finally going to find someone and have those experiences, but I was too afraid to. I talked to people on Grindr and Tinder and other dating apps, but I was too afraid. I was too afraid to actually meet with anyone in person. And then when I was 21, I had moved back home, but I was on vacation in Boston, or first I was in New York. On this trip, I went to New York and Boston 2 years ago, 2023. And I'd finally gotten to a point where I was so hungry for touch and for sex and for intimacy and for romance and for that. I just couldn't hold it back anymore. I couldn't hold it in. I had to experience it. So was in I was in New York, and I met a guy on Grindr, and we hung out all day just as friends. And so I felt comfortable bringing him back to my hotel room, and we fooled around, but I wasn't really attracted to him very much. But then when I went to Boston, I met a guy named Ramon on Grindr, and he was so handsome, hot, masculine. I like the normal acting straight guys. I don't like guys who seem gay. He was so cute and romantic and sweet, and came back to my hotel room, and we were intimate for like 5 hours. And but at the end of it, he didn't want to stay in touch with me, and I was like, how did he go from being so loving and affectionate to me to not wanting to give me his phone number to stay in touch? Like, I asked him for his phone number. He said, oh, well, that's kind of personal. And then I sent him a message a few months later and said, hey, maybe I can come back to Boston. We can meet up again. He said he didn't want to have sex with me again. He was kind about it, but... And eventually I realized something, because I had told him when we met up that I had never kissed anyone before, that I only had ever been with one person before, but we didn't kiss, and that was the person I had met in New York a few days earlier. What 21-year-old doesn't have had their first kiss? Very few. I think what it was, because he was very sweet and kind, I think he had a little bit of pity on me. And he just wanted to give me a nice experience, a nice first kiss. Like, it made me kind of sad when I realized that. But so, I won't go into all the details of my subsequent dates because this video would be an hour long. But what wound up happening was I was in heaven those 5 hours with Ramon in the hotel room. I was so desperate to experience that again that when I came home from that trip, I went crazy dating. I starved myself to be skinny so I could be like a twink, attractive to these kinds of certain men that I was attracted to, the more masculine guys. I dyed my hair bleach blonde. I tried to make myself as appealing as possible. I was going to gay bars every Friday, Saturday night, gay nightclubs, looking for someone on Grindr all the time. In 1 year, from like the fall of 2023 until the fall of 2024, I probably did about 5 years worth of dating in 1 year. And no one stuck around. The most I ever got was maybe, like, usually the first dates never went anywhere. I never heard from them again. Some of them, I got a second date. One of them, I did get a few more dates, but then he ghosted me after a month. And I did have sex with a few of them after like the first or second date, because that's not too uncommon for gay men. But consistently, without fail, every single time, I probably dated 40, 50 different men at least once, first dates with different men. I mean, it was crazy for a while. I was always going, like, I had a calendar. I had all these dates planned for people that I met on the internet. Okay, Monday I'm going on a date with this guy. Then Monday night I'm going on a date with this other guy. Then on Wednesday I'm going to see this guy. Then Thursday I'm going on a date with 3 guys. And then Friday I'm going to go to the nightclub, the gay nightclub. And none of them ever stuck around. None of them. Even the ones who I objectively was compatible with and had similar values and interests. Some of them I tried to follow up with, and they would be very firm, clear, like, I don't want to date you, sorry. Another one told me he didn't want to date me, but it was okay if we could be friends. So we became friends for like 2 months, and then he ghosted me. But while we were friends, he said, I told him, I said, well, I think the reason I've been so unsuccessful at dating is because I'm autistic. And let's be frank, it's just not sexy. And he said, oh, yeah, honestly, I could tell. And I think you're probably right. Maybe try to date other autistic people. But here's the thing, just because I'm autistic doesn't mean that I find autism attractive. I think it's unattractive too. I think it's a very not sexy quality to have. That would be so depressing and demoralizing. Have to settle for someone like me because I can't get any good options. You don't get a lot of good options when you're autistic. You might get, if you are high functioning enough and you can mask enough, you can probably get first dates with some pretty good options. Maybe even a second date, but that's it. They're never going to be in a relationship with you. They're never going to want to date you because they have so many better options to be with. And this caused, anyhow, so it became very clear to me by the end of last year that it just wasn't going to work. I was so tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So I quit dating, I quit going to bars and nightclubs, and I fell into a deep depression. I was so pained by the realization I had, like, wow, when I was in second grade, I was right. I'm never going to experience romantic love and a romantic relationship and the kind of satisfying sex and romance that I want with someone who I'm actually attracted to. And I fell into a deep depression or last fall and this winter. And then when I was in April, I went on vacation again. And I don't know what came over me. Some guy wrote me a message on the dating app on Hinge. And by that point, I'd just given up on love, basically. But something in me compelled me to go on this date. And I had a video chat with him the night before. He was handsome, kind, sweet. He really liked me. We had all the same interests, same politics, very lot in common. And he told me that I was very sweet and nice on the phone, on the video call. So we go out for a date. And after the date, by the end of the date, I could tell he wasn't interested in me anymore. And I asked him if he wanted to maybe walk along the river after the date. And he said, "Oh no, I'm maybe another time. I'm going to go home. I'm busy." I could tell he wasn't interested. Then when I got back to my hotel, he even sent me a message and said, "Oh, thanks for coming out, but I don't think we're a compatible match. But text me sometime if you want to hang out as friends or talk as friends." And I wasn't surprised. I expected it at this point. So I haven't gone on a date since then. I haven't been intimate with anyone in a year, over a year. I'm the common denominator. I tried so hard. I went out with all these different people, and they all didn't want me. I mean, I'm the common denominator. And there's something so, I don't know. I've never had much self esteem at all. But I feel like when I was in my real deep depression earlier this year, after over a year of rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection, my self esteem went into like the negatives. But I raised my dose of Prozac and I'm feeling better. So hopefully that lasts for a while before I have to raise the dose again. But I grieved the possibility of romance. First, I was bitter and angry. Then I grieved. Then I was just sad, and then I grieved it. Now I've just accepted it, and I'm just trying to move on with my life. I'm not. Why bother trying to go on more dates? Why bother? I'd worked on myself so hard. I tried to work on my looks and my appearance and my hobbies and my social skills and this and that. It didn't work at all. So I'm just done. I've just accepted that I'm just inherently unattractive and undateable because of my autism. I mean, I don't think facially I'm the most ugly person. I'm not hot. Definitely not. But I think I'm just a very average, normal looking human being. And I think I would actually have the potential to be somewhat attractive if I was neurotypical. But it's just not the case. So I'm just. But I try to remind myself those things are fleeting. Romance is fleeting. Sex is fleeting. Those hot young couples who are probably having amazing sex and experiencing amazing romance. It's not going to last forever. They'll be old someday. Half of marriages end in divorce. So I'm just accepted that it's not going to happen, and I'm just trying to move on. And my faith in God has helped me a lot. You see my icons back there on my crucifix. And I have also recently, over the last year, over the last 6 months, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I do actually think acting on same-sex attraction is a sin. I know it's an unpopular opinion in our day and age, but I actually do believe now God probably expects me to not act on these feelings and be celibate, and that the only acceptable form of genital intimacy is between one man and one woman who are married. So that's another complex layer that gets piled on top of all this. So it sucks, but it could be worse. I just remind myself I could be horribly disfigured. I could be homeless. I could have been born in North Korea, or some other dictatorship. I've got it good. I've got parents who love me, who are well off financially. I've got a nice home to live in. I have, some nice friends. I don't have any friends my own age, but I have some nice old lady friends at church who kind of adopt me like a little pal, and I enjoy their company, and it's okay. So I've just kind of accepted my place in the world, that I have a disability, and that no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, that I'm just never really gonna, But it makes it easier for my faith, because I just tell myself, well, because part of me thinks, what if the church is wrong? Or what if it's not a sin and it would be okay? Well, I tell myself, even if that was not the case, it's not like it was ever going to happen anyway because of all of this. So it's easier for me to be celibate for my faith, because I know I'm not really missing on anything or giving anything up because it was never going to happen no matter how hard I tried. I know it's sad and depressing to say that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I think a lot of prayer over the last 6 months and going to church a lot more often has helped me feel better about the situation. So I just wanted to say, if you're autistic and no one wants to date you or have sex with you, it's okay. It sucks, but you're not alone. I'm here. You have my support. You can leave me comments, and we can talk in the comments and have fellowship and support each other. But there's some things you just can't change. There's no cure for autism right now. Maybe in a few hundred years there will be once neuroscience develops to that point, but right now there's not, and there's nothing you can do. So that's all I got to say. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I want to start making more videos on here. So, see you all in the next vid.